But okie dokie, finally inventory is getting too full, so let's do a purge, shall we? Stones, still kind of need. We might want some sandblast action here or there. It's nice to have one spell that costs 1 magic at this stage still. I don't think we're too far beyond that, but maybe we will give up on the throwing mechanics. Troll leather. I mean, I love wearing the skins of my enemies. So that alone is huge. I got a Staff of Earth at some point without realizing it. Whoops, that's potentially very nice. Just up that petrify chance a little bit more, get it a bit closer to that 100% spell power. Could definitely be of use. Ring of Evasion, we've got 2, we only need 1 at any given time now. And we do have lots of scrolls that we could drop. Brand Weapon, Enchant Armor, you know, the usuals that we can always come back for when we want them. Even Amnesia doesn't really need to be on us at all times. But in my usual routine here, I'm not going to worry about it till it already becomes a problem. And we'll just have to do some more inventory management later on. That's a problem for future me. And that guy's an idiot. So let's make his life harder. Steam Dragon. Ooh. I mean, if I didn't already have armor, I'd actually be more excited about this. I only realized after we started the fight that I don't actually want your scales too much. So I'd probably just wear Snorg's skin, right? I mean, not losing any of our ability to cast spells is a nice side benefit for Steam Dragon. Generally is the best early game armor for a spellcaster to come across. But maybe just a smidge too late today, unfortunately. So that is fine. And we also noticed that we had the Earth Magic Staff, but haven't given it any credence here. So let's actually change these so I can quick swap between them. And now with a Staff of Earth Magic and the Archmagi robes, our Earth spells are going to be out of control. Archmagi is too good, right? Yeah, it is just amplifying all of our effects, especially with how prodigiously we're using Petrify with something like, yeah, Ozakuba's Fridge, where you need that extra little bit of chilly energy at your disposal. It's a tough argument to make in favor of switching out anytime soon. Okay, I'm probably getting slightly more overconfident than deserved here. If I die to a Hellrat, then oh boy am I going to be disappointed in my life. But there we go, managed to make it through despite my best intentions to, or best attempts rather, to ruin it all. Then we can just petrify both of these sons of guns and not quite blast you. That's fine. We're gonna play it safe here. We've already had too many close calls for one game today. Let's take a page from the safety handbook and just head upstairs. Oops. No, don't hit myself. That's not great. Why aren't you letting me... Oh, there's a bush in the way, of course. The most classic of issues in life. And there we go. And it looks like we have Snake. So that means that we don't have to deal with new Spider. That's a benefit. I'm very scared of the run eventually in this version of the game where I'll have to deal with new Spider, but not today at least. I also didn't realize we are wearing both of our evasion rings. So that one I threw out was actually a 3rd ring of evasion. How about that? But we're seeing a lot of snakes here, so I think I'm happy to switch over to the poison resistance, that is. And not too shabby here. Oh no, the basilisk got us first. I mean, fortunately, we still had an opportunity. But that could have been much more terrible, depending on what other enemies were lying around. So I will gladly take the victory where we get it. Ooh, a polished scimitar. Storm form is interesting. We have manifold assault, so we could try something real wacky and pivot into a storm form manifold assault build at some point. It's fun. It's not great on a deep elf, but it's fun for some stage in the future. You died several times against Quokka during the tournament. Oh, those Quokka will get you. I definitely have been in that boat before. That's where you sometimes first come across just how much the game's percentages can screw you over. When they have a 20% chance to dodge your like dungeon level 1 character and they just dodge every single hit, absolutely unstoppable machines. We also accidentally petrify a butterfly. Whoops. Right before failing a 91% chance to petrify the target that we had in mind. Exactly as planned. And let's just blow that Komodo dragon's mind a little bit. Perfect. Another blinking scroll is huge for our future survivability. Have I experienced a new spider yet? I have not. So far in the 3 games, I guess 4 games technically now. This is the 4th that we played in the new version. Not once have I come across the new spider. I probably should have played a little bit in the trunk release when they were making spider. Was it guaranteed or just more common? I think it was guaranteed for a while so that they could find more like bug fixes and whatnot, correct? In the trunk version. So I probably should have tried it out at the time just to get a bit of an idea as to what we have to deal with in the future, but that's fine. It's time the sun will come, and I'm sure we'll have to deal with it eventually. Okay. Slightly concerned about becoming petrified well in the Oaklob's range, but all is well that ends well. At the very least, we always have that 1 turn, I guess, so generally we're okay against just a basilisk on their own. If there's a group of enemies with them, then oh gosh. Sign me down isn't a thing. I was trying to think of what's the opposite of saying sign me up. I think it's a little bit scuffed. You just have to throw it out and come up with a different phrase, so whoops. But let's train some more ice magic, get Ozakubus down out of the red cast range. It's already down to 7% failure rate, which is pretty good. But of course, because we're using a lot of utilities to supplement our ability to cast, Archmagi Robe, maybe that's it, but I felt like there was more, so I started a list, and now I'm just awkwardly stuck with my life's decisions. Regardless, it might be nice to have that come down a little bit, become a bit safer to cast in the future. And what else do we wish to bring into the mix? I mean, now we do have the ability to summon. So we have a Lesser Servant, which, as mentioned before, is largely going to be used as an escape maneuver. Put a body down, use it to block something between us. Archmagi doesn't decrease failure percent. Does it not? It's not like wizardry? I thought it was both. It just increases the power of its wearer's magical spells. How about that? I feel like I've thrown disrespect on the Archmagi name a lot, but could definitely use this as an opportunity, like I often do in this series, to teach myself what I've been missing. Let's see, do Death Yaks fall to our fridge? Heck yeah, bud, they do. Not too shabby there. More Oaklobs, 2 spellbooks hanging out with the Oaklobs. Like, you know, I gotta do something with that in the future here. We'll see, let's just Stone Arrow this Hydra. We're finally killing those 8-headed Hydras a little more regularly, instead of having to just struggle and hope that we roll high on at least half of our Stone Arrows. Or, you know, we just got lucky there, but one way or another, I'll take it. Let's get our Potion of Might ID'd, and one more Scroll Enchant Weapon. Not likely to be super useful, but maybe. If we do end up using Manifold Assault to a decent degree, then that'll fall in the same boat as the Brand Weapon Scrolls as a potential useful piece of the puzzle for later. And okie dokie. I definitely would like to try and kill these Oaklobs. You're probably poison resistant if I had to guess. Unfortunately, most of these plants are. Ozakubu still works though. Essentially what I'm getting at is we want to hide behind the, oops. hide behind the plants, and try to get some free hits. Free hits. No longer getting free hits. Do I have any other sneaky vectors for attack? I think there's a line of sight between here and you, but it's worth a shot. Let's do it. And we'll freeze you. And there goes our cover, but you're dead, so we're okay. You tried Manifold Assault last time and wasn't impressed, to be honest? You think it's good? Definitely in the right situation. If you have a really solid weapon with like an effect that you really want to apply on everyone, like a distortion weapon, Manifold Assault has some wild things going on for sure. But on top of that, the main thing that I find it useful for is on spellcasters. Once you get statue form or storm form up and running, your unarmed attack power becomes ridiculously strong. And I actually found in one of my runs that unless monsters were actively grouped up and or vulnerable to fire, my Manifold Assault in statue form was out damaging Ignition, which is pretty wild. But in general, I just also find it to be the most fun spell of all of them, largely because it was new at the time. So anytime you have some new hotness to check out, it will generally be pretty close to the top of the list, at least for me. But because it happened to work out so well for us that time, I feel like I have a strong bias towards Manifold Assault. The other time that it's a lot of fun to use is, of course, with Ogre Mage. You're playing an Ogre Mage, you have a giant spiked club, or better yet, you have something like the Dark Maul on Randart at your disposal, and you'll have some truly ridiculous situations arriving where you're just dealing like 50 damage to everything on screen every single cast, no problem. On average, I should say. Even though I don't know why I clarify, because it's not like I was actually actively doing any math in the first place. Anyway. Let's blast you, blow that Nethack's mind, and make sure we don't head down that same stairwell anytime soon. Speaking of Hydras, if I played Hydra Slayer, it's the fun alternative method of slaying Hydras. Hydras with 1 million or more heads collapse, stack overflow the son of a gun. No, I've definitely not tried. Sounds like it's a lot like playing table tennis with an Orb of Destruction and a reflective shield. It's a lot of fun until it isn't. An iridescent hand crossbow. Fancy. So one of these days we won't fail every single attempt to petrify these sons of guns. Let's bring one of you upstairs. And we might just go to another floor temporarily. I don't want to drag this out too long of just me bringing up one Nethack at a time, running around the level trying to kill them, and then rinse and repeat over and over again times 8 or whatever it was. Maybe not great. Yeah, we have all this piety. What do we do with it again? Summon demons to kill ourselves. So ideally, all things go well. No, never summon a single demon. I would be happy with that outcome, because I'm hoping to mostly use it as a panic button in the future. Wow, you are a sketchy thing. That's a very much a live yak, unfortunately. The lesser known cousin, of course, of the Nethacks. Well, you friend, where did I leave you? Down here somewhere? There you are. Let's give one more shot. Maybe this time we'll petrify you, and maybe freeze is the option. Let's actually take a look. Freeze is 4d15 guaranteed to hit. Stone Arrow should be guaranteed to hit when they're frozen in their petrified state, so that's something. But it is less damage, and significantly so actually. So, with that in mind, let's just blast you and still not kill you. I also no longer have any Mind Burst. Interesting. I was kind of enjoying using that to finish off fights so that we could save our Ice Blast Wand as much as possible. Well, This definitely supports the theory that we should potentially just leave this area temporarily, and we'll come back and face the Death Yaks when we're slightly better prepared to take down the crowd. So if we roll well with refrigeration, no problem whatsoever. Healing also scales with piety. That is true. Yeah, and that's just, again, a nice little background bonus effect. Once we have something like refrigeration more actively being used, the ability to kill the popcorn on the screen, heal up from half health back to full, should be pretty awesome. As long as we get those rolls. I think it's like half as likely to heal as it used to. As I throw out random numbers, I know it's something around there. It's less likely, to say the least. But still could definitely save our life if we find ourselves in a bit of a pickle. You feel like you summon I summon a demon that will maybe help me, probably, is kind of not a panic button. Like, what's the reverse of a panic button? See, fortunately, a 1% chance to go hostile, not the end of the world. I'm feeling pretty good about my odds. Though you are right that that's something that we should potentially keep in mind for the future. But okie dokie, let's head back out to the dungeon. Oh, we almost killed a butterfly by accident again. Hate that. Should never trust the auto explorer, the auto navigate. It's how you kill some poor innocent, beautiful little butterflies. Let's bring you two upstairs and we'll just freeze you. And this is our life now. Especially when we're at a stairwell where we can just retreat instead of having to rely on getting through an encounter without any potions. Just spam the heck out of that. It's getting cold in here, so put on all your clothes. Perfect. And rinse and repeat. This is our life now, and we like it like that. Not too shabby. Those 3 casts that we can afford to put out there, just barely being enough to kill a normal yak. Potentially explains why we were struggling so much about the death variety, but should be okay. And just PPPPP. Perfect. Nightmare is a little bit of a pain in the rear, so let's take off poison resistance. Let's see you for a moment just so I can kill you, and then switch to maybe our second evasion instead of going back to the completely unnecessary poison resistance. You're scary, so I'm gonna turn you to stone, and then I'm just gonna run because I don't want the gargoyle to notice. I was confident to just kill the Cyclops with a little bit of cheese thrown into the mix, but that's fine. You had a game where you found Atlas on D1, unfortunately didn't live long enough to get it online. You know, potentially it's just an artifact of the mind space I've been in for today's stream, but I am blanking completely on Atlas. Ow. That miscasting does hurt. You weren't kidding, game. Let's leave our new Cyclops friend to their own devices for a little bit and move on. Okie dokie. Right, we can't turn you to stone. You already are. Well, we'll kill you the old-fashioned way then. Stone arrow to the chest usually does the trick. And onwards we go. Hello, my manticore friend. Ooh. Definitely freeze you. I'm currently barbed, which is not great. It is the artifact book. I should have even said my guess then, because for some reason I was thinking spell book, but that seemed wrong to me. That's the one with Blink, Manifold Assault, and Stormform. Ooh, so it has all the pieces to the puzzle for what we were talking about earlier. Wand of Acid to start it off. Unfortunately, not exactly what I was hoping for, so I will refrigerate. And I think it's not even really worth it for us to switch to our dagger. We don't deal a lot of stabbing damage. Oh, we don't even have our dagger anymore. Never mind. We have this fancy scimitar. Oh, which is seen visible, so I actually probably won't be using the ring too often anymore. It's a lot quicker to just use the quick swap key. At least more straightforward to a certain extent. Let's start with Ice Blast. I want to keep enough magic around to re-petrify our giant one-eyed friend. You know what? That's actually close enough, so I will finish you off. I will immediately break my word and instead kill you like that. Perfect. Now run to the stairs. Since we did make a decent amount of noise, want to be semi-cautious of that. And let's kill ya. Ooh, there's an ice dragon. I don't have any resistance to cold. Also, bonk. I apologize. Big bonk on the mic. We technically can't be killed in one frost breath, but that is very much technicality because it can deal 75 damage, I believe. Something like 3d25. So that's less than ideal. I don't know about you. I'm kind of curious. 91% chance that we immediately fail. 91% chance? No, I have to run. We do have ice armor, which I do always forget. No, it does not give us cold resistance. I feel like that might be an older effect. It just gives us the AC, right? At least that's what it seems like here. You did convince me for a moment that we might be okay, might be in a safe spot, but unfortunately, not quite. Please walk up to me. Oh no. Okay, fine. I'll take some barb damage, even though I kind of hate this. Everything about it. Oh, especially since I don't actually have the magic to go through with this fight. Mistakes were made. One of many for the day. Let's just Wand of Acid you, and then I'm trying not to use Ice Blast because it's just a little bit loud. So ideally we kill you normally, fantastic, and that's great. Man, that seems wrong because we weren't right, but that's why I believed you right away. It made sense to me, right? And Colgate, you had another run where you didn't have Manifold Assault, but you got Storm Form, your inexperience with it got you killed, but it at least built a bit of familiarity. Oh, super dangerous. Yeah, very, very rough. Storm Form, just the detriment to your defenses can be absolutely brutal. I mean, if you're Manifold Assaulting and murdering everything on screen in one turn, maybe not as big of a deal, but definitely something to keep in mind. And no, fortunately we do have See Invisible, Colgate, so even though I guess you're saying that if we get blasted by the dragon and there was already an Unseen Horror, then yeah, then we'd just be dead. You're right about that. Okay, let's turn on Ice Magic for a moment while we decide what we want to do here. Refrigeration is already up to 51% spell power. Definitely a little bit of a ways to go there. It would potentially help if we found a Staff of Ice along our journey, but no guarantees that we'll come across one at any point. Do we have any other spells that we desperately want to learn at the moment? Maybe something that I forgot to pick up? I do potentially, eventually, want to do a Storm Form Manifold Assault, so we can maybe show off some of what we're talking about here. Storm Form, though, is very tough on somebody with such a low health total, and is a ways off. The counter to that is that if we find Statue Form, I probably want to learn it on this character. So it wouldn't hurt too much to learn some Transmutation early on here and get that ball rolling for when that eventuality hopefully comes to pass in the future. Besides that, there's not a whole lot that's jumping out at me at the moment. It increased your defenses. You had pretty bad defenses. You got yourself killed by taking on Nessos. Yeah, Nessos. I constantly do not give Nessos the fear that they deserve. Also, oh gosh. Oh no. Fortunately, this all ended up being an open path with lots of twists and turns, but that's not what we wanted to see there. Again, that Staff of Ice would potentially be nice right now. Give us some resistances. We have RF, we have RN. RC is the only one that we're kind of desperately lacking at the moment. But we can still safely go to another stairwell here. Oh, hello, friend. Glad I didn't take a 75 damage hit from a dragon and then run headfirst into you. That would have been a terrible way to die. Hello, Grum. This time behind a translucent optional door. Much nicer for us for sure. 1, 2, 3. Pop around and kill you. Perfect. Would rather wait too many turns than too few, so I threw in an extra one there, I think, relative to what was actually necessary. 1, 2, please freeze. This time this elf has a distortion dagger, and I want absolutely none of that, so let's get rid of it. So it's funny because you mentioned that Colgate made me realize that Stormform might not actually decrease your defenses. I feel like part of that for me might just be the fact that I'm generally swapping from using statue form consistently. And so it probably just feels that way. Also, okay, this was a mistake. I thought it was going to be. Hoped against hope it wasn't. And I just continually make it worse. Like we do. Okie dokie. Well, I'm probably just going to teleport. Do I want to try and survive the necessary turn count against the troll? We have 2 more stacks of Wand of Digging, so we could use that. He has nothing to see here, just passing on through. Honestly, just don't mind me. Pardon me, excuse me. Unfortunately, they seem to, for some reason, take offense. So my bad there. My bad, new friends. Let's try that again, shall we? This time not backing myself into a corner if possible. Might be nice. Dig and run. That was my original plan, but fortunately, being able to teleport helps alleviate some of the stress in the scenario. And we get out in one piece. I will ignore the boomerang. Ooh, and your friend is not going to be frozen. I'm going to switch over to our scimitar that has the resistances here. And let's just stone arrow your dad real quick. Sorry, Fire Elemental, had to be done. And not too bad here. Now I want to run into those orcs again, because I feel like on a good day, when I have fridge available, they don't stand a chance. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be carnage. In fact, in general, I've been kind of looking forward to getting around to finding orc, because I think that we'll have a good time. Also, unfortunately, this troll does not respect the lore around trolls in things like D&D. Fire not helping out more than anything else. Something I always enjoyed. I think I first got exposed to that in the game Baldur's Gate as a kid. And I found it so funny that, yeah, they'd always regenerate unless you hit them with some kind of fire damage. Prevent that healing one way or another. So I believe in that game they regenerated from being dead, unless you had some source of fire. So generally it was throwing an acid flask and letting it burn away. Okay. Don't get to use fridge on the orcs like I hoped and dreamed, because I just keep using up all my magic in the meantime anyway. Whoopsie daisies. Did all of you run away, or you throughout the entire level? Oh man, imagine if we could have come into the middle of here somehow. I know it doesn't make sense because this is where the entrance to the Orc Mines is. But that would have been some beautiful carnage, to say the least. That's fine, let's heal up and let's head down into Orc and see how we fare. Being a little cheesy on the stair, we can definitely just use our powers of fridge, or not. There we go. Now we can use our power of fridge. Also, if we're going into Orc, little word of warning, word of advice, do not, I urge you, do not wear an Orb of Guile like me. Oh my gosh. This was a foolish mistake. That's how you guarantee getting confused every which way. I mean, we already have bad willpower just on our own. We don't need the help. Thank you very much, game. Let's see how this goes. We do have one scary little orc friend. So let's get rid of the others, and then we'll freeze you. Petrified by the shock and awe that we bring down upon your heads. Perfect. Not too shabby here. Hello, my orc friend. I did not see you there. Thought we had a clear route to the rest of the floor here, but so sorry. Anybody who gets in the way must be dealt with extreme prejudice. Perfect. Let's always ignore it. That's actually a new key in this version of the game. I'm a huge fan of any quality of life changes, so that is absolutely fantastic. One less menu that you need to navigate through if you want to change some little specific quantities or qualities here or there. Absolutely lovely. And again, just show these orc friends the power of technology. Just install a fridge, my friends. Life has never been better. Let's make sure we're not missing out on anything lying on the ground. A +2 robe of willpower does shore up one of those lacking qualities that we were just talking about recently. But unfortunately, Archmagi, I mean, I was blind, but now I see. And Archmagi is a whole lot of fun for just how strong all of our spells are as we blast through these sons of guns. In fact, going down to Orc 2 right away, potentially a risky situation, especially this is the ranged Orc. Okay, so call me crazy, but this is actually probably the best place to deal with a lot of these suckers. You remember that I complained about that during 0.27? Yeah, it must have been that. The devs definitely pay attention to me, and my thoughts are the most important. But no, that is funny that I happened to mention it. Well, then I'm very glad to see that it's in the mix now. Well, my orc pal, again, all of you have ranged. This we know to be true. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Fantastic. But no, that definitely fits with what I think of myself, because I feel like anytime I came across items that I didn't really want to carry around, but they were on the ground and auto pickup kind of wanted me to, I was always too lazy. So rather than go into the menu and fix my problems, I'd instead just constantly face them over and over again and complain about it like an adult. That's how we deal with our problems, right? Don't do anything to actually rectify, just complain. Makes people like you more. Which I say meaning to be sarcastic, but at the same time, there's a certain commiseration, camaraderie in misery. Some people do want a friend who will also complain with them and about them. I guess that is it's literally a well-known idiom that misery loves company. So maybe I'm not exactly reinventing the wheel with my my brilliant psychological intakes, or takes rather, for the day. Okie dokie. Oh, I love that emote string brain. That looks fantastic. Hey, love company? Don't we all? Because we're also all miserable, right? Just to make that abundantly clear. I'm not the only one, right? Okie dokie. Warg, actually kind of scary. This is less than ideal. I'm hoping Petrify comes up, or enough magic to cast it rather. 67% chance. You know, that's not good enough. I have to Stone Arrow. Oof. Big oofs. Take you on a little bit of a walk. Maybe I'm not dead yet. Stone Arrow. One of these days, Stone Arrow is going to do the trick, I swear. Well, instead, just blast you with some icy son of a gun. How dare you? Holy moly. Well, back on the road. I mean, we've probably dealt with an okay percentage of them. We haven't broken into the main camp of the ranged area here, which always puts me in a bit of a worry-wart situation. Especially with some Centaur warriors still on the loose. Kill that son of a gun with a completely unjustified amount of firepower, using refrigeration on a single enemy. Less than ideal, arguably. Oh my gosh. Saint Roca. Hi. I didn't see you there, friend. This is the thing. This is awkward. I'm just gonna leave, though. That seems prudent. Yeah, I don't think I want to fight Saint Roca right now. If we had some kind of single target, with like Orb of Destruction or something like that, then maybe. As is, that's probably just going to be a no from me, dog, so let's head out of here and let's finish the regular dungeon. Wouldn't that be nice? You are resistant to cold, my friends. Exactly what we were hoping not to come across. An entire skeletal warrior pack on D12. Less than ideal, to say the least. I mean, Stone Arrow does pretty well against these buddies. Unfortunately, we just don't have the AoE that I would otherwise like. We can maybe kill one. I'm less sure than ever.